This show is brought to you in part by SalCal Real Estate Connections. Welcome to Racing Action Today. We're here today, Sunday, at the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance. And today's show will be dedicated to the Italian car industry, as they made some of the absolute most prettiest and desirable cars in the world. I think you better find yourself a very comfortable chair and relax as we see what the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance is all about and the people who make it happen.
Yes, we have Blake Stevenson with us, who owns this absolutely gorgeous Maserati. I believe it's a 1961, but I think you know a little bit about this car, Blake.
Yes, it's a 1961 prototype. It was the Torino show car for Maserati in late fall of 61, and then in the Paris Auto Show in 1962. And it's one of two prototypes that they derived the Sebring production series out of Series 1 and Series 2. And this was special order, originally by a customer, that then led to it being a prototype. And the build sheet I have, which shows the original colors and the specifications of the car.
Now, I mean, did they make many of these?
Well, the Sebrings, or Series 1 and 2, I think a total of maybe 398. I think that was the total number. But as far as the prototypes, there are only 3 prototypes. This is one of 2 left. The third prototype, I believe, burned years and years ago, but this is the first one of the prototypes that was built.
Now, what kind of engine does it have?
It has a double overhead cam, inline 6 fuel injection. And if you'd like, I'll open the hood if you want to take a look.
Yeah, we'll look at it after, we'll take a little B-roll of the car. And so how long have you owned it?
5 years.
5 years, yeah. Geez, it is really a real pretty-looking car. And I have to admit, I have never seen one. And, of course, if there's only 3 prototypes, I don't envision you come across them.
You would have to have been in 3 different places, 3 different times in order to see all 3 of the prototypes. They were never together.
Yeah. Where are you from, Blake?
Stonington, Connecticut.
Stonington, no, good Connecticut guy. We always like to hear that. Well, we want to thank you for your interview. This car is really gorgeous, and I got a feeling you're going to do well here today.
Well, we'll see. There's an awful lot of nice cars here.
Well, at the very least, you're certainly going to have some fun. That I will tell you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Blake. You were excellent. Silver Ferrari. Yes, we have Max Iori with us, with this absolutely gorgeous 1967 Ferrari. And I got a feeling, Max, you know a little bit about this car.
Sure do. This is a 67 330 GTC. It's a V12, a 4.0 liter engine. You have 3 carburetors. It's one of about 300 that was made. This was my father's car. My father worked for Ferrari for over 40 years. He was the head technical mechanic for NART, which stands for North America Racing Team, here in Greenwich. And he ran with NART for many years, running the team from a technical perspective. He lightly restored this car. It's been in my family for over 20 years.
Wow.
It's a dream. It's a dream to drive. He's done a great job with it, and it'll always be in my family.
Yeah, I tell you, it kind of caught my attention, and he certainly picked a good one to keep. Now, do you have other Ferraris?
We also have a 275 GTB.
Okay. Boy, I'll tell you, I can't wait to see the engine in this car. Is a V12.
It's a V12, 3 carburetors. 4 liter, puts out about 300 horsepower. It's a dream to drive. It has the original styled hood and bonnet cover in aluminum. The body, of course, is in steel, black leather interior.
Now, where are you from?
I'm from right here in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Oh, home. Yeah, this is like a home deal then.
It is, Larry. It is. It's a great show. We enjoy it every year.
Now, have you been coming here long?
I have 3 years ago. I also showed the other car I mentioned, which was a 275 GTB.
What color is that car?
That's red, V12, 3.3 liter. That has 6 carburetors, no air filter. It's got the racing trumpets. It's all aluminum. It's one of 13 built.
Wow, I don't even want to ask what that car is probably worth.
You don't.
Well,
That was
Max,
also my family, and also lightly restored by my father.
well, that's great. We want to thank you for having a word with us. I'm sure you're going to have some fun here today, and I got a feeling you're going to do very well with this car.
Thank you, Larry. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot,
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. You were excellent.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yes, we have Doug Brown, who owns this absolutely gorgeous Ferrari Daytona. And I'll tell you, Doug, this car is just super, and I bet you know a little bit about this car.
A little bit. Been all over it. Really enjoy it. It's 1973 Ferrari Daytona, 365 GTB4, V12, 5-speed, front-engine supercar of the 70s.
Yeah, I'll tell you, this car here is really one of my favorite Ferraris, and in black, too, which most Ferraris are red.
Yeah, I did, when I went to go look, I did look at over a dozen before I bought this one, and there is a lot of red out there.
Yeah, there is. Now, tell me, I mean, this was a specific car you were looking for, this model, or?
Yes, it was. It was something when I was younger that was always, you know, the pinnacle. And I looked for about 2.5 years at a dozen different Daytonas before I bought this one in California.
Oh, you had to go out to the West Coast to get it.
Mm-hmm. I bought it from the second owner, who was from Los Angeles area.
Mm-hmm. Now, where are you from?
I'm from Westchester County, right across the line from Connecticut, in Katona, New York.
Have you come to this event often, or?
I come as a spectator every year. I wouldn't miss it. I love it. It's a great cause, great charity, and of course, I love everything with the motor in it.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. It's great to be invited this year also. Crazy.
Let me tell you, when you're invited to this show, the car is got to be good, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the cars parked next to me. I'm a little embarrassed. There's some cars here that are worth, you know, millions of dollars, and it's great to be here with this one. I think it holds its own here, though.
Let me tell you, I know myself, the Daytonas, they're like a mystique about them. I don't know what it is, but they're really highly sought after.
They are. It's the way they look, the way they sound. Everybody always comments about that. They drive great. People say they're a little tough to drive, you know, no power steering, all that weight up front with the big V12, but it seems to be fine once you're rolling past 5 miles an hour. It's really a fantastic car, and I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I would just love to park this car right in my garage.
Yep. Driving it's better than parking it, though.
Well, we want to thank you. You've been really great to talk to. I'm sure the car is going to do well, but judging by the smile on your face, you're certainly going to have a good time here.
Yep, absolutely. I have a great time as a spectator, or like I said, it's an honor to be asked to even be in the event. It's great.
Oh, absolutely. This event is special, I'll tell you.
It really is. Well, it's tremendously well organized. I mean, look all around, all the people and the cars. You see how many people are really car crazy around this place, and you know, they appreciate these older cars, and it's a lot of fun even just to be part of it.
Absolutely. I want to thank you, and I'm sure we're going to see you in the future.
Thanks for even coming by to say hello.
I will. No problem.
All right.
You were
Thanks.
Excellent, Doug.
Thanks.
Yes, we have Zachary Shulman here, who owns this absolutely gorgeous Maserati 1970, and I think you probably know a little bit about this car, Zachary.
A little bit about this. This is a Ghibli coupe. They made these from 1967 to 1972. Production was a little over 1,000 units on the coupe, and 125 convertibles were made.
So that makes it a pretty rare car, huh?
Pretty rare car, yeah.
Now tell me, how did you come across a car like this?
Well, I saw this car in California at a show, and it was a frame-off restoration by a company called Maserati Information Exchange, MIE. And I had a Maserati Camson that I traded for this car about 10 years ago.
Okay. What kind of motor does it have?
It's got a 4.7-liter twin-cam V8. It's a great, powerful motor. This is a great touring car, very comfortable. It's fast. It's air-conditioned, power steering, power brakes. Really one of the top grand touring cars of its time.
Where are you from?
I'm from North Salem, New York.
Okay. Yeah, this car really caught my attention, but I love red cars anyway. And,
can't hate this one in red.
you know, and it is really a pretty car. And I really don't see them often. Do you have any other cars like this car?
I have a convertible as well, Ghibli Spider. That's a rare car too. It's got the same great characteristics of the Grand Touring cars. This one, with top-down motoring.
What color is that car?
It's also red and black.
Yeah, that would. I'd love to park that right in my garage. I'll tell you, these cars are really pretty. I want to thank you for having a word with us, and I'm sure you're going to have some fun here today, and I think you're going to do very well.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
That's a lot, Zach.
Okay.
Yes, we have George Dragon with us, who owns this absolutely gorgeous black car I have never, ever seen in my life, but I had a feeling you know a little bit about this car. What is it?
It's a 1955 Maserati Spider. It's a 1200 cc, one of two that were built in 1955.
One of two that were built. Wow. What kind of engine does it have?
It's got a four-cylinder, twin overhead cam, 1200 cc engine with two side draft Weber carburetors.
Was this built for a racing or something?
Well, it was built for competition. That's why it's right-hand drive. Actually, the other one was left-hand drive. But in Europe, these cars, the reason that a lot of them are right-hand drive is that they race clockwise in Europe, and we race counterclockwise. So the driver always wants to be closest to the center of the track, and that's why competition cars were right-hand drive.
Well, I'll tell you. Now, they were built in Italy?
Yes, in Torino, Italy. They're prototypes. They tried to break into a new market. Maserati built small 750cc cars, like Fiat-based cars. But in 1954, when this car was designed, they tried to break into the Ferrari market, Maserati market, and this car was built to be shown at the Paris Auto Show.
Now, well, a car like this, would it have done hill climbs too and stuff like that?
Yes, well, actually the first race was at the Mille Miglia, a 1,000-mile race in Italy. They raced there in 55 and 56. It could have been at hill climbs, sure. There was probably on a lot of other smaller races, but the first races we know about that it was at was the 55 Mille Miglia.
Well, I'll tell you, it's really something special. I loved the actual design of it. You just don't see this car every day, you know. Now, do you know where the other one is?
Yes, it's actually in Holland, and we've copied a lot of pieces for the fellow. It was totally unrestored, was found in a junkyard years ago. And actually, I found this car in 2002 in Alabama in a barn. It was sitting on the ground. The wheels were gone. The windshield was smashed. And actually, the fellow that owned it for many years, he knew what he had, but he would have never restored it. And it took me 2 years to restore it. I had it in our shop from 2002 to 2004.
Well, you need to be commended. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm sure that you're going to have some fun here today. This event is just something special, too. I mean, do you come here every year?
Oh, yes, we have. We've been here from the first year, and Bruce just calls us to bring any great cars, and we haven't missed one yet.
Well, we certainly want to thank you. The car's gorgeous, and hoping to see you down the road because I'm sure you have other cars you're going to be showing.
Yes, that's right. Thank you very much.
You have a shop, too, you'd like to tell people about?
Oh, yes. We have actually our restoration shop is in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And then we also just opened a new showroom in Westport, Connecticut. So it's Dragon Classic Cars.
Very good. Good luck today, and I got a feeling, though, you're going to have more fun.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, George. You were excellent.
Yeah, I'll see you.
Yes, we have Bob Wilder with us, who owns this absolutely gorgeous Seatta, 1953, I believe. And I got a feeling, Bob, you know a little bit about this car.
Yes, I do.
Tell me about it. Where they produce these cars?
Well, they were produced in Italy in the early 50s. Seatta had been in the business of dealing with race car parts. So they were an experienced race car part producer, but they were really not that much in the car business. In the early 50s, after the war, they started producing cars, and they got together with Fiat, who was making V8 engines in the early 50s for something called an 8V, and they put 8V or V8 engines, a 2-liter engine, in these cars, and Seatta actually made the bodies and the chassis and the suspension systems.
Now, the body is aluminum?
Yes, it is.
Now, was this car physically raced?
It was. These cars, there were only 36 ever made in production, 26 of which were delivered out to California to a well-known, wealthy racing guy named Bill Doheny, who was in the oil business. And 26 of them were delivered, and he was in the business of opened with a race car guy named Ernie McAfee in order to sell these cars. Ernie McAfee, unfortunately, was killed racing a Ferrari in 1956 in the last of the famous Pebble Beach on-the-road races. And so both Ernie McAfee died, and these cars languished a little, because if you lived in California and you could spend $8,000 on a Ferrari, you were questioning why should you spend $5,000 at that time on something called a Seatta that you didn't really know what it was.
Well, I'll tell you, this car is so impressive. I love the style of it. How did you come across this car?
Well, I knew about the car, or I knew about Seattas from a little research, and it turned up that this car was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, with a Chevy 283 engine and a T10 transmission. But the then current owner, who's a restorer, had all the original engine, transmission, and parts, and so I made a deal with them to restore the car back to its original condition.
Well, I'll tell you, you need to be commended, because it is absolutely gorgeous. And I got a feeling you're going to do very well here today, but judging by the smile I see in your face, you're going to certainly have a good time.
Yes, it's a fabulous car and a wonderful driving car. Independent rear suspension, which is very unusual for the early 50s. It was a great handling car on the roads.
Yeah, we're going to have to hit the books, because it's certainly a first for me. This is the first time I ever heard of that, or seen one of these cars, and it sounds like they have an interesting history.
Well, there's only about 20 in the world left with the original engines and transmissions in some. There's probably about 25 to 28 left in the world, period. But of those 8, they probably have either Chevy 283s or 289s, which was sort of the California engine of choice in the late 50s, when people were saying, what do I want a 2-liter Italian car that I can't get parts for? So we think there's about 20, maybe even less than that, left in the world with the original engines.
We'll have to keep an eye out.
You should.
All right, thank you for your interview. You've been excellent, and believe me, this car is something special.
Well, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Bob. You were excellent. So, yes, we have Alden Sherman with us, and friend Joe, and Joe Shields. We want to get that right. And we're here with this absolutely gorgeous 330 Ferrari, and I got a feeling you know a little bit about this car.
I've had it for 20 years. I should. I've been fixing it for 20.
Yeah, what type of motor does it have?
It's a 12-cylinder. It's a traditional, good, old-fashioned 12-cylinder Ferrari.
And
the best.
Now tell me, you live locally?
Live in Weston.
Weston,
Yeah.
You drive this car frequently?
It's pretty much a daily driver.
Daily driver? Wow.
Pretty much, yeah. And
now, do you bring it to this event every year? Or?
Oh, it's been here once before, and I've got 3 Bugattis, and we sort of alternate.
3 Bugattis?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year are they?
Type 57C convertible, which is a gorgeous car, which was my daily driver since 1959 up until about the late 60s. And that got People's Choice here about 4 or 5 years ago.
So you're a veteran here, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now tell me, Joe, what favorite car is yours?
Well, we had this one in the New England 1000 last year. We put about 1,700 miles on it. And it's a wondrous car to drive. It's a lot of fun. Not much of a turning radius, but it really moves along, and it's pretty dependable. It only broke down twice.
There's no power steering, is it?
Oh, no.
No, not at all. It's you have to develop muscles.
It's power steering. It takes power.
Yeah.
Now, it's really an easy car to drive, and it's very fast, very comfortable.
Now, was this car restored, or?
It was painted about, when I first got it 20 years ago, I had it painted, and it's been maintained mostly by me, and it just goes and goes and goes. It's a good one. It never burns oil.
Well, I'll tell you, you need to be commended. The car is absolutely gorgeous, and I mean, you just don't see these cars. That's for sure.
No, there are not too many around, and
I don't even know. How many do you think they made of this model?
they made about 800 of this model.
Okay, 800. Yeah.
This, yeah, this particular car was on the, I believe, in the Geneva show. This car came out of Geneva, and there's supposed to have been, and maybe it's true, there was a picture of Ferrari sitting in this thing at the Geneva Fair.
Would love to track that down.
Yeah,
that would
I
be
don't
an
know.
interesting
I
photo.
can't prove it, but I've heard that there's a picture of him. Anyway, he came out of Geneva, I know that.
Wow, that's kind of interesting.
Bought it, and I got a guy who is just starting in Ferrari work. He knew his business pretty well, $20 an hour. So I said, okay, take it apart, and anything that needs fixing, fix it. So he did a good job. It goes and goes, never burns oil, always starts.
When I said it broke down at the New England 1000, we broke a shock mount right out of the weld with all the potholes that were still there in May. And the fuel pump went, but it was the original, and the leather gets kind of brittle on that, so to be expected.
So this car is special, and I tell you, it is something to see. I want to thank you for having a word with us, and I got a feeling you're going to have some fun today.
Oh, we have fun with it.
We have fun wherever we go.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Thanks a lot, Alden and Joe. It was a real pleasure meeting you. Thanks a lot. You were great.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Enjoy the show.
Oh, we will. Thank you. Yes, we have Rick Phillips with us, who owns this absolutely gorgeous 1977 Ferrari Boxer 512, and I bet you know a little bit about this car.
A little bit. This car, actually, I'm the second owner. This car came from Holland. It was originally owned by a fellow named Fritz Kroijman, who was the Luigi Giannetti of Holland. He was the importer, the only importer to Holland of Ferraris, and he owned it right up until about 2 years ago, at which point he sold his collection. I picked it up from a dealer here in Connecticut, and he actually imported it with a Ferrari 250 GTO, on which he made so much money he decided, you know what, I'll give you this thing below cost, which is fine with me. It needed a little bit of work. The paint was as it is, the interior was as it was, but the engine needed a little bit of work. And I'll tell you, it's fast. I mean, the quota horsepower is 350, but it feels like it's a lot faster than that.
Did this car have any race history?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he raced his car extensively all through Europe. When I got it, it had a race clutch in it. That was some of the engine work. I don't know if you've ever driven a car with a race clutch, but yeah.
After a while, it gets a little tiring.
It's a strong left leg, and it's either on or off. So we replaced the clutch. The internals of the motor are all stock, though, and it's still, you know, despite the amount of trouncing it's got the motor's not tired. It's got a lot left in it.
Yeah, I'm always interested to see Ferraris like blue ones. You don't really see them. I'll tell you, they're very rare.
Well, that's actually what was the attraction to the car. Most of them are red. This happens to be the original color. I checked the paint code. This is the color it came in, and I can't tell you how many they made in this particular color code, but it really, I think it complements the car. You know.
Yeah. I'll have to say, I really like how it looks in that color. You know, and it just struck me kind of strange because we never see that color. We see a lot of silver ones, believe it or not.
Yeah, silver. You know, red obviously being the most popular color, and I would guess right after that is probably either black or silver, and then yellow. And you know, if I ever saw a white one, I'd bowl over and, you know, dead. But, you know, blue, I think, fits this car. I mean, you could do this one in black, too. But everyone you see for sale is red, and some have the, you know, the boxer trim in the bottom. And, you know, what stood out to me was the fact that, you know, it was different color. And other than that, the interior's original. And
yeah, I have to commend you. The car really is a gorgeous car, and I like the model, too. I mean, the style of this car is really priceless, you know, and timeless is what I really mean. You know, you see, and it really brings out the essence of what a Ferrari is about.
I think so. If you heard me fire it up, it would definitely bring out the essence of what a Ferrari is about. Yeah, it's a V12, and it sounds like a V12.
You know, the V12 cars are special, and that's what I think a Ferrari should be all about. And this car is really something. I have to commend you. You did a right move here getting this car. and I'm sure you're going to have some fun here today.
Oh, I've had a great time. In fact, my 7-year-old was with me up until about 5 minutes ago, and he's had a great time. He drove in with me, and hopefully he'll be back. He'll drive out with me.
Yeah, he's probably saying, Dad, you got to keep this one for me.
Oh, yeah. No, this is his favorite car. No question about it.
I don't doubt it. Well, thanks, Rick. You've been great, and good luck today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. You were great, Rick. Yes, we come to the conclusion of our show today, and I hope everybody has enjoyed it as much as we have producing it. It has been one outstanding event here at the Greenwich Concours d'Elegance. And I'll tell you, I want to thank our crew, Dwayne Cody, Billy Majak, David Seidlinger, and Lisa Backus for all the great things they do. But I also want to thank Bruce Winterstrom for all the he's just a great host here in Greenwich. And we certainly want to mention Ganya. Her passing has been such a sad part of this show. We just miss her smiling face and all the wonderful things that she's done. God bless, and we want to see you again next time on Racing Action Today.
We want to thank Pryor Brothers Fabricating in Berlin, Connecticut for all their support, and also we want to thank Just Results Weight Loss Center in Bristol, Connecticut. And last of all, we want to thank Sal Cal Real Estate Connections. Special thanks to the Race in Action Today crew, Dwayne Cody, Bill Majak, David Seidlinger, Lisa Backus, and Daniel Kahn. And also a special thanks to our home station, Nutmeg TV, for all their support.